Alright, so after all that, we've finally come to the most important part of the entire process. We cannot stress enough how important this next part is. So at the start of when I was building this, I wanted to make sure all the mechanics work properly. So I often took shortcuts just to get to the end and made sure everything worked good. And one of the things I did was at the beginning of the game, as soon as the killer would see the survivor, they would chase them forever. There was no hiding, there was no getting away from them, they would just chase them forever, non-stop, and we don't want that. For a Dead by Daylight story mode, we're going to have to give the AI a little bit of intelligence, okay? We don't want them to just stand still when they're not in chase or anything like that, alright? We kind of want them to do something. We're going to give the kind of illusion that they're wandering around looking for the survivor, just wandering around the map, alright? So instead of just moving to our character forever, what I've done here is gone and set up. It's basically going to be updating if we can see the survivor or not. And at any point, every basically 4 seconds is going to be updating. And if we leave his sight for 4 seconds, it's going to register as he can't see us anymore, alright? And on the event that he won't see us anymore after that 4 seconds, he's just going to be wandering around in a random reachable point in radius. And that's exactly what it is labeled, is exactly what it is. He's just wandering around in a random point in the radius of 2,000 feet or meters or whatever that may be. And what he does is, between every 3 and 20 seconds, he's gonna go to a different point. It's just gonna update and he'll go to a different random point as long as he doesn't see me. Alright, now along with doing all that, I've updated his terror radius music. As the second that he sees you, it's gonna start up. Just like that. So, why don't we leave his sight? And when we leave his sight, after those 4 seconds, his terror radius music is gonna fade out real nice. So let's go ahead and do this. Just like that. He's lost me and his music faded out really nice. Really gives a good impression. Now he's just going to go wandering around random spots of the map. So at any point, let's say he's not facing me and walking away, he could just kind of turn around and see you. You never really know. It's just random. Alright, now that you've seen Michael Myers can kind of go on a chase with me and then lose sight, and we can go back and forth in kind of a cat and mouse game, the last thing I wanted to do was set up the noise so he can hear me when I'm injured, or maybe if I'm running by him or something like that. And I've just gone and set up where if I go a certain speed, he'll hear me. You know what I mean? And also if I'm injured, if I have less than 100 health and in the injured state, he'll hear me in an even larger radius than my footsteps. So I'm going to try and sneak up behind him really quick, and we'll do this. Just go and run. And you know what? Below a certain speed, I can go as close as I want to him. Just like the game. You can sneak up behind him. But the second I go over a certain speed, which is the running speed, he'll instantly turn around and hear me just like that. We have him slice me up once. Slice. Alright, now that I'm injured and I'm kind of emitting a sound. You don't really hear it. It's more of, even though she is emitting those girly sounds. Alright, let's say he's lost me. I'm going to hide behind a corner. You'll be able to see that he'll hear me anyways. Now that I'm injured. I gonna be creeping? Doesn't matter. He's going to hear my sounds. Just like that. Doesn't matter if I'm hiding or not. He'll come right to me. And now the AI has a bit of intelligence with being on a chase, losing the chase, and just hearing me if I'm injured or running past him. So now that we've done all that, we can start importing and uploading the other killers, the other survivors. They'll have all the mechanics, and everything's ready to go. So let's move to the next phase here. Alright, so when you import these characters, they don't come, like their clothes and objects, they don't come with physics. So for the Scream guy, the Scream Killer's dress is what they call it a dress. His dress, I'm going to go in and set physics for his arms and the lower part of his his dress on his torso. Okay, so this is what I decided for Ghostface. Since in the Dead by Daylight game, he'll kind of creep around and he'll try and expose you and get you down in one hit. I've kind of done something to represent that, where he'll start off with a slow creep, and he doesn't get me down or anything right now. But maybe for the Dead by Daylight story mode concept, we'll have him just get me down in one hit. But this is what I got going on. We'll just kind of stare at you, do a slow creep. Right now your meter would be filling up to be get exposed. And he just kind of runs at a fast pace like that. It speeds up. I love the cloth simulation on his arm. It's really cool. We'll just have him hit me once. Just as a slice like that. And he'll wipe it just like Michael. Do a little wipe animation. Actually didn't set the cloth simulation for the lower part of his dress here, so I'm just gonna do that now. That looked pretty good. Let's just go in the game and get a final view and make sure that looks okay and not so goofy. Just go in the low settings here. Oh man, that looks sweet. Sweet, his legs are moving just with the... Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, that's just about good. I won't do any more with that. We'll just leave all his cloth simulations just like that. Okay, so I've gone and uploaded Huntress and all her textures. And here we can have a good look at her up close. And to be quite honest, I've never played as her, but after working in the textures and looking at her, she's probably one of my favorite models. I really like what they did with her. Her outfit is very practical. I also never noticed it's kind of like her veil and the handprint on there before. Just give you guys a look. So, really cool model. Really cool what they created. Gotta give it to them. So, why don't we go and take a look at what her face looks like under the mask, right? And I thought that'd be kind of cool to go and do that. I haven't really done it yet either. I've just seen the just like the paint image. So we'll just go and take this out of here just like this. In fact, you know what we can do? Make this invisible. See if that does anything. The invisible trance. There we go. And that's what the Huntress looks like without her mask, guys. She actually does have a face kind of model and textures and everything. Kind of cool, right? Yeah. So we'll just go and undo that. Just put the mask back on, just like that. So at this point, you've heard me mention that when I'm done creating the survivors and the killers, I'm just gonna duplicate them, and their blueprint is gonna copy over. Okay, but one thing that doesn't copy over is animations. Okay, this is an example. Like Michael Myers, this is him standing still, and then we'll just put him up to his running state. All right. Now Huntress is gonna have a completely different standing still animation and a completely different running animation. So this is kind of where you have to be creative with each character and setting up what their animations look like between their running and their attacks everything like that. So with Huntress here, I had to get really creative because she has the unique ability of throwing axes, alright? And I don't want to make her stand still and throw axes. I had to kind of figure out a way in between her running animation to implement an axe throw without ruining or interfering with her running animation. Does that make sense? I don't want anything to, like I said, I don't want her to stop and throw an axe or anything like that. I want it to flow seamlessly. So what I've kind of done is, this is her at her max speed. And I've gone and found an animation of just a throw grenade animation. And it seems to be the closest thing that I could get to this, where they're running at the same speed and it just kind of looks like she is throwing an axe. It'll look better in game, I promise, because it's cut down slightly. But you can kind of see that they're at the same speed. You know what I mean? This is her running, and then every 10 seconds or whenever I decide she throws an axe, she'll just play this animation and then it'll go back to her running. Alright, so I had to get a little creative, and you'll see what I mean in a second when we go into the game here. And in case you're still a little confused about the throw grenade animation, this is Mixamo, okay? Now I've gone and typed in throw, and these are all the throw animations. There really is no animation where someone is just running and throwing something. The only one I found is the run and throw grenade, so that's why I'm using that. And like I said, there is other throw animations, but I don't want my character to stand still at all, so that's just what I've gone and used. And now, right away when we jump in here, you're going to notice her terror radius and a couple other things that I'll come back to the blueprint and explain a little more, especially with the axe throwing and what's going on with that, really. But I just have it set where every 3 seconds she's going to throw an axe. So let's just go and take a look at this and kind of see what her animation looks like from afar. Let's see it up close, kind of. Now, as you can see, the throwing grenade animation really isn't that bad. It does flow pretty good. It does look a little strange how, maybe it looks strange how she puts it up to her mouth, but this is how I got it working with just the Mixamo animations, because God, I don't want to go in Blender and kind of animate any of this stuff, so once again, just go take a look at this. So, good enough. I got it working where it's actually looking pretty good, so. Alright, so one of the issues I was having with the throw axe animation, because the throwing axe animation is just set on a timer every 3 seconds she's gonna throw an axe, and the problem is if she goes up to melee you with her big broad axe, that throwing axe animation could cycle around and interfere and overlap the animations, and that'll just cause your system to completely crash. So what I've gone and done is I've just told the system to recognize when we're in the melee animation with a broad axe, and if the axe throwing animation cycles around and we're in the melee animation with a broad axe, our axe throw is just going to be paused for 3 seconds, and in those 3 seconds our melee animation is just going to be able to finish up. And when it is finished, she's going to go right back into the axe throw. So let's just jump in here and I'll kind of show you what I mean, alright? So within the 3 seconds, she'll throw the first axe and I'll go up to her. Whoever hit me. Right now, that throwing axe animation would have went off. But because we were in the melee animation, that just paused her axe throw animation. That's all that did. Otherwise, like I said, our game would crash if those animations overlapped. And the other thing I've had to go and do is, I've had to kind of tell the game that when we're not in chase, I don't want her throwing axes anymore, because if you don't actually tell the game that we're not in chase, she's just going to be wandering around throwing random axes when she's not looking for me, and it's going to look really goofy. So this is what I mean. I've just had it set when she's wandering around randomly looking for me. She's just not going to be throwing axes right now. But the second we start going into a chase, that 3-second timer, now it's going to kick off. Alright, I just wanted to show you this kind of little last cool creative step with Huntress that I had to figure out just so everything looked really nice. So this axe in her hand, this little small axe, this isn't the axe that she's throwing in the game, okay? This axe is going to go in between of being visible and not visible. And the axe that is being thrown is this actual projectile, alright? It will spawn this projectile axe, and it will have that rotating movement that I've set, that forward vertical movement like that, as well as, you know, some gravity and stuff to give it some weight and look a little realistic. And the logic is, when we go into the animation of throwing the axe, this is visible for a second, like she's equipping it. And then when we do spawn the projectile to throw this axe in her hand is just going to go invisible. So it's just going to kind of give the illusion that she's equipping it for a second. And that's pretty much everything for Huntress setup. We got her lullaby radius constantly always going. She can see us and hear us and get us in the down state with her axe throws. So that's everything working pretty good. I'm glad I got this far with her. Huntress was kind of an important character for me because, I don't know, you know, I just really wanted to make a good story mode for her. Oh yeah, rub it in, rub it in. That's it, guys.